Good to be chatting with you again, King of Kolob.
Hi, how are you doing? It's good to see you again.
Good to see you too. For those who are watching, the King of Kolob has been in a few of my videos now. I mean, you were one of the main characters in the Talleyrand series, and you're also one of the players in Thanksgiving Politics. So it's quite a rich history if the viewers want to look back on the games that we've shared together. And in this call, we're going to be covering a game that you played that I was not involved in, but I just thought it would be cool if you shared it with everyone, called QuickStab. You want to introduce yourself at all?
Yeah, I did a lot of diplomacy early pandemic. That's where I met Florida Man over here. And I took a little bit of a hiatus, took some new jobs, wasn't really able to play as much. And just recently I transferred to a new job with some coworkers. I'm talking about the game diplomacy, and they're like, hey, let's do this. So I organized an office game, and turns out having just one game of diplomacy isn't enough. So I started my own game with strangers on the internet, obviously, like the best way to play diplomacy, just to rehash some of those skills and tactics. And so now I'm actually hosting a game in the office where they're all learning how to manipulate and lie to each other, and I'm giving them all tactical advice, and I'm just a host. So this was my game for like my own enjoyment. So I was really lucky that I got Austria. Austria is my favorite, and I know that's unique among diplomacy players, but I love Austria because I found it's like the diplomatic powerhouse on the map, because you have to talk with everybody if you don't want to get invaded, but then you can really set up these really fun intel sharing arrangements with England or France, but you talk to everybody. And that's kind of, I think, my strong suit in diplomacy. I'm really good at just talking with everyone and figuring out kind of what they want to do. So Austria is just my favorite to do that with.
That is how you got to be to win, is Austria, I found.
Yeah.
Austria,
yeah, you can't just like...
are my two favorites. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, with Austria, you can't just like build your armies and take out one opponent at a time. You really have to collaborate with everyone. So this was a fun game. Right out of the gate, as soon as the game started, I got this message in three-way from Italy. Italy messages me and Germany and says, you guys want to all collaborate? And this is before I did my profile stalking, where I look at every profile and figure out how many people are new, how many people are more experienced. And like, all right, this guy is going to be communicative. Let's do it. I love the Central Triple. If you can make it happen, it's a great alliance and it works really, really well. Out of the gate, Italy and Germany are really responsive, and they want to do the Central Triple. Like, that's a great strategy. I love that. So I put out my feelers to everyone else as well. England, doing the typical intel sharing arrangement, reaching out to Germany and trying to solidify that Germanic relationship, because the surefire way to make sure Italy loses is for Germany to invade. They normally both die in that scenario, and I just had to double check that. And then, of course, you got to probe that Russian-Turkish alliance, figure out who is willing to turn on the other. And I got a little bit from Russia, and I got a little bit from Turkey. They weren't very warm with me, which gave me the impression that they might kind of be on the same page. They might possibly be doing the Juggernaut, but it's still early. You don't know yet, right?
Yeah.
And what was really interesting was in spring 1901, I heard back from, I think, 3 players who all told me, Turkey is planning on attacking me. So I was like, okay, I got my Central Triple, I have my primary adversary picked out, and as the old saying goes, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. So I decided I need to get in bed with the Turks if I can.
How do you do it?
So if we'll start moving forward, Italy, I found something really important in alliances is, especially early on, when they say they want to do something, so long as it's not really, really stupid or egregious, let them do it. And in this case, Italy wanted to do the rogue Italian move, where they go up to Tyrolia and then Bohemia and then into Russia. Normally, I hate this. I think it's a waste of time and a waste of effort. But I was like, all right, if that's what the Italian player wants to do, so I'm not going to trust them entirely, but it's important for the relationship aspect to let them do that. So I did, this is my this is one of my favorite openings with Austria. You get in position to take Serbia and Greece. Worked out with Russia that we would do the Galatia a DMZ and not a bounce, because I knew Italy was doing this, so I didn't want to risk the bounce where I don't actually bounce. I end up Galatia, and then I'm posed and out of position. So I kept comms with Turkey, very pleasant and hospitable at this point, but I knew that they were going to be my major opponent and problem in the game. So let's go to fall, where everything always gets fun, right?
Yes.
So I was in the position to take Greece. Italy picked up Tunis, I think kind of an odd way. I don't know, you can do the convoy, but if you want to do that, you could have gone to Tice, I don't know. But I didn't trust them entirely, so you see my move to Trieste, and the Germans support them to Bohemia. So now I have 2 turns in a row. England came out really strong with this convoy into Denmark, and that really messed up the German-English relationship, which I was going to have to smooth over later on. But
makes sense.
England came out strong, and at this point in the game, we had all kind of figured out France was silent. France did not talk to anyone. And we couldn't figure out if it was France is only in bed with the English and see no value, or if they're just a really quiet player. So we were all starting to figure that out.
Interesting.
These are all very standard moves for the Russian. And at this point, I'm trying to get Russia and Turkey to talk to me and try to get one of them to stab the other to kind of see what they could do. And neither of them was really giving me much.
These are very neutral moves by Russia and yourself so far. I mean, Turkey moving to Aegean Sea is not quite neutral. Obviously, it's very pro-Russian to start moving away from the Black Sea.
Yeah, and that's what makes me believe, like, there's a strong Russo-Turkish alliance over here. Like, I think so.
At least strong on the Turkish side.
Yes. Yeah. It was interesting. Let's go to winter then. So I do the standard builds, and I mean, these are all standard builds for everyone except for Turkey. I think that Turkish build really symbolizes like okay, I'm moving on Austria or I'm moving on Italy. And I rarely see a scenario where Turkey bypasses Austria and goes for Italy. I've rarely seen that. So I viewed this as a hostile Austrian move. And I think it was intended that way.
That makes sense. I mean, Turkey hasn't seemed very friendly to you based on what you've been telling me since the beginning. Okay, well, I guess go to spring.
Yeah. So this is where things got really interesting for these spring negotiations. Within the Central Triple, we've established that we're all going to work together. And Italy put out a message to England and France saying, can we please have a truce and we all focus on Russia, because Russia is the big baddie. Italy's got something to gain if we all focus on Russia. I have something to gain if we all focus on Russia. So this is just kind of a fortuitous, yes, let's all get along. And we needed to calm down the Germans and the English, because they were that Denmark convoy just really irritated the Germans. And so, like, back channeling to England and Germany, I was able to get them both kind of off of that and explain, like, look, England, you have something to gain in Sweden. Germany, you have something to gain by moving into Russia. Let's all just, like, call a truce and we'll move on Russia. And the only way this is going to work if we can convince the French player to just be still for a moment. And England was able to convince France to just stop moving and to be still while we deal with Russia. And I think that was a huge mistake on the French part.
I was going to say, there's absolutely no incentive I can see for France to do that. I mean, in the late game, Russia is frequently a French ally, and France could obviously be gaining something from Italy or England or Germany here.
Yeah, but France was okay with it. And France, like, gave the thumbs up, and this is a quiet player. And so the one time we hear from France says, sure, I'll just stand by and let you guys deal with Russia, because I'll be a good friend. Like, okay, we think you're in bed with the English. We will figure this out later, but for now, let's do it.
France has been doing a lot of Model UN, I think.
Yeah. So down in the Balkans, I'm having my conversation with Turkey and Russia, both trying to get the other to attack each other, and Russia at this point will not give me anything. They like won't attack Turkey, or they won't say they're going to attack Turkey. I offer like, hey, let's do the bounce in Galatia, and time runs out. I get nothing from them, and I'm trying to like offer, hey, I'll support you into Bulgaria, but they will not make any commitments. Turkey, on the other hand, agrees to help me fight the Russians, and they want to, I forget the rationale, but it was like, yes, let's cooperate, you get into Galatia, and then I will help you fight the Russians. So Turkey wanted me to make the first move into Russia, and I viewed this kind of as a trap. And so what they wanted to do was they wanted to orchestrate some sort of bounce in Greece and Serbia. And Turkey gave me their orders. They were going to do Bulgaria to Greece with the Aegean support. And I was supposed to have Serbia support Greece, so it would all bounce, cause that confusion on the board and make it look like everybody's against each other.
Interesting.
And I viewed this as like, yeah, they're just getting ready to like really stab me good. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to lose Greece. It's a fleet, but I can get the Italian player into a really good position. So I ordered these moves. I figured I need to move Serbia to bounce that army out so that Greece was isolated, so that in fall, if you go to the next slide, that Turkey could accidentally get Greece, and then I could support Italy into Greece and destroy that army and set us up in a really good position. So this was a really fun move with Turkey that they thought like I was on their side. Hey, yes, I'm going to be your ally. We're going to work against the Italians here. And they accidentally picked up Greece, but I'm okay with it. Hey, that's fine. You can keep Greece for now. I'm going to move on Russia. Like it'll be okay. We're just going to like cartwheel around each other a little bit. And so this is my first stab of the Turks, because I figured out that army is going to come to Bulgaria. I can support the Italians in. They take Greece. And on the Russian front, this is one of my like favorite tactics, that rather than going for the supply center in fall, which is normal and you think you could probably take, instead you drive deeper into their territory to set yourself up for a better future turn. And we see it works. I support myself into Galatia. I got into Ukraine. At that point, Russia's not in a good place once you're in both of those territories, right?
No, that's true.
And we see France just holding still. France holds by this agreement. So during the retreat phase, Turkey, let me rephrase this. I find it very, very helpful and important that after every time that you stab someone, you then reach out to them and you still keep up dialogue. And you like, hey, it was a really good game, but like, this is how it's going. This is why I stabbed you. So I reached out to Turkey and I was like, hey, like, I stabbed you because, truthfully, I heard from everyone on the map, including Russia, that you were going to stab me. So that's why I did what I did. You just kind of explain that. And
it was important.
Turkey then sends this message to the entire board, Russia included, saying, I've heard from many of you that you think there is a Russo-Turkish alliance. There is not. We are not allies. What do you do with that?
Don't do that, Turkey. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Even if
everybody reads that as, yes, you guys are best friends.
I mean, and if it was true, like, Russia doesn't like that either.
Unless Russia was okay with that message. Yeah. But like we to this point, we've not seen them coordinate any moves. They clearly agreed to a Black Sea DMZ, but that's it.
Yeah. But yeah, this is like putting up a sign that says, totally no Russian juggernaut, Russian-Turkish juggernaut going on here. Nothing to see.
Yep. But I was able to get them in this position where Turkey got the unit destroyed and they were a little out of whack, but they were able to get into the Ionian. And
now you could even just walk into Moscow from this position, looks like.
Yeah. So let's go to spring, because I had that debate. Do I walk into Moscow or we'll go to winter?
Yeah.
And so my reaching out, hey, I'm so sorry, it paid off. And the Turks built a fleet. And that surprised me that they actually did that, because I would have built an army to defend myself, but they built a fleet.
He's relying on
And
Russia's defense or something? Doesn't make sense.
So in winter, I reached out to Turkey and I was like, hey, I will do a quid pro quo with you. I will not do anything to help or support Greece if in exchange you don't do anything to help or support Romania. And I will trade you Italian moves in exchange for Russian moves. Because my Italian partner at this point starts to be kind of not responsive. My German partner's doing great. I found out Germany's like from the UK, and they're students, and this is like their first time playing diplomacy. Like, they're great. They're having a fun time. But I wanted Italy to be my ally and do well, but not too well. Because I'm reading the diplomatic situation here, and England is good. England's making progress. They're communicative. France is quiet, and I think there's tensions there. Germany is really new and figuring out how to play the game. Italy is not responsive. Russia's going to be toast here. I might be able to solo. But the only way I can solo is if my Italian ally flounders a little bit. And I redirect those Turkish energies against Italy. So I feed Turkey all of Italy's moves. My Italian player got in this habit where they would get on, send a message with all of the moves they're going to do, hit submit orders, and we didn't hear from them again. So,
Okay, then.
So I knew I had to wait for them to send me that message with their moves, and then I would plan accordingly. I would give that to Turkey, and then I would wait some more time so that Turkey could receive those moves and plan accordingly.
That would give you a really big advantage. Let's see how that plays out in the spring.
So this is where my quid pro quo comes in, right? I don't support Greece. I gave them those moves. I told Turkey, like, they're worried about you going to Theiss, so you might as well use your fleet to take Greece. They gave me the Russian moves, and this is where I had the debate, right? Do I pop into Moscow or not? And I decided not to, because one of the old adages in diplomacy is to be in second place. Don't be in first place in size. And I wanted to be methodical and slow in how I conquered Russia. I wanted to make sure my allies were kind of moving forward. And I was hoping that the fleet in Sevastopol would support Romania so I could pop that army.
That makes sense. Unfortunately, that Sevastopol doesn't support Romania. It goes to Black Sea instead. But I guess things basically went according to your plan, though.
Yeah, picked up Romania. I'm just being methodical about this. Can't grow too fast, but I need to get myself in the best possible position to reap those benefits before my Italian ally reaps benefits. And the border with France is stabilized. France is keeping this peace. And so we start having the conversation, hey, Russia's going to go down. England, do you want to switch sides and work with the Germans?
Wow. That's interesting. I feel like at the same time that you're talking about this with England, like, we see France's moves here. He's getting ready to move into the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
So this English flip just might be the switch in time that saves Italy. What was the plan with Munich supporting Bohemia into Silesia? Was Italy going to get Warsaw?
Yeah. So the arrangement is Italy gets Warsaw. Later we'll give Germany something. Germany's okay with this.
Italy's okay with it too. Well, it was Italy's plan.
It was Italy's plan.
It's a very, very well set up map for you, I think.
Yeah, I'm in a good position where my allies, Italy can stab me, but won't get much from that. And Germany is still feeling so pressured that they probably won't.
Well,
that's my dryer. Let's go to fall.
Yeah. And in fall, looks like things are kind of proceeding as you might want them to still. Italy got into Warsaw as you planned, and you finally...
I owed Italy that. I gave Turkey those Italian moves. I recommended that they take that fleet to Theiss because it's going to be open. And I coordinated, I smoothed over the relationship between England and Germany, and I coordinated this convoy from Denmark to Belgium to get the two of them cooperating against France. Because at this point, like, we can't get France to talk to anyone. And so I was like, all right, you two should just cooperate.
That's a good reason. You can't get France talking.
So, yeah, I got all of the Russian moves. And so I figured I did this because I figured it's better for me to destroy that army in Sevastopol and just bounce in Romania, because it'll just make the Russians a lot weaker.
Most players would have been would have really wanted to hold on to Romania and been determined to grow a little more quickly, but you're very patient here.
I'm patient because I've read the players that I'm giving Turkey all the Italian moves. Turkey is not in a position to stab me. I'm okay with Italy floundering a little bit. I don't want them to disband, so I need to put them in Warsaw. But I can be slow and methodical because all it does is get me in a better and better position for what you'll see I'll do later on when the time is right.
When the time is right. When the stars align. When the moment comes. All right.
And I'm very methodical.
Yeah. Getting me pumped about this next phase of the game. And of course, the war in the West, absolute chaos, and, well, not exactly chaos. It's England and Germany attacking France, but they don't have that much of an advantage over France yet. So
no, not really.
And especially because England didn't even get into St. Pete. So England got Belgium, but England and Germany are only getting collectively a single build this year.
Yep. And I figured my German ally, like, they're great, but they're in this diplomatic quagmire that they're not going to get a build for a long time. Because of Italy's move up, they're not going to get anything out of Russia. Because now they're working with England against France, they're not going to get anything out of France. And I'm okay with that. So now I'm in a position where I'm in the most powerful alliance on the board, but I'm the only one gaining territories.
Italy's gaining territory. He gained Warsaw, but not
lost Greece.
Yeah, but he lost Greece, and that's true. That's a good point. And also, the territory he gained versus the territory he lost. Greece was something he probably could have held indefinitely. Warsaw,
especially if I had supported him.
Did Italy not complain or anything about that?
Nope. There was one term where, like, I'm waiting for Italian moves to come in, but they never come in. And so I, like, submit my orders, and I'm going to bed, and I see the message from Italy, like, hey, will you provide support to Greece? And I just put my phone away. I just ignored it.
Oh, darn.
And then in the morning, I send the message, oh, I'm so sorry, I missed your orders. What's your time zone? Oh, you're in California. I'm in the East Coast. I have to go to bed early, and I wake up early. I'm so sorry.
Oh, we'll have to coordinate more in advance next time.
Yeah, coordinate more in advance next time. We'll make sure it doesn't happen. But at least we got you into Warsaw. Cause it's more important for us to cause Russian disbands than it is to get Italian builds.
Naturally.
Yeah.
All right.
So at this point, Romania is mine whenever I want it.
Oh, it's surrounded by 5 Austrian units.
It's mine whenever I want.
Russia is... I don't know. Russia's made some questionable destroy choices. Before he destroyed Baltic Sea instead of the fleet in St. Pete that wasn't able to be supported by anything, and now he's destroying the army in Prussia instead of the fleet in Black Sea that can't do anything except attack Turkey.
Yeah, I was so confused by that disband. I was like, all right, that was dumb. So at this point, I've been talking with Turkey like for a year, giving them all the moves. They're like confiding in me, telling me their plans and everything. And I'm like, you know what? I've never done an AT because I don't think it's a realistic alliance. I'm like, all right, we're gonna leave this to fate. If he builds an army, I'll do the AT because this will be fun. But if he builds a fleet, I've got to invade. Like, that's just too good, right? A Turkish player with 4 fleets? Come on.
Fair enough.
He built the fleet.
God wills it. We invade.
Built the fleet. Built the fleet. A poor decision on his part.
So I guess I know what we're going to see in spring.
Yep. So I talked with the Turkish player. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to end up stabbing you. So after you built that fleet, so I want to get your units as far away as possible.
Oh, is that?
So, hey, you should go to Spain. And I gave him the Italian moves. Italy, you know. At this point, there was something, we're like, well, we need to start making it look like Italy and I aren't super aligned. I forget what the rationale was. Someone was afraid of it. So we're like, all right, I'll just take Moscow by myself. I'm telling Germany, like, hey, we need you to get a build. How about you come over and we'll do a swap? Oh, I remember what happened at this point. Italy was like, hey, having an army way out there in Warsaw is super not helpful. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
you noticed.
That's why everybody hates it when Italy does the rogue army move, because it's useless.
I mean, it might
And
be.
so they worked out this... Go ahead.
I said, I mean, it might be useful to Austria.
Yeah. And so they worked out this deal that Germany was going to come take Warsaw in exchange for helping the Italian player into Marseille. Which is fine. That makes sense.
Very logical, actually. That's a really good plan.
Yeah. The downside to that is I have to waste a turn supporting a move into Warsaw, because we need to make sure that unit is disbanded and doesn't, retreat and move somewhere. It has to disband on the retreat. And I was kind of planning my move. I was like, I don't know if I really want to waste an army on that. We'll see if I can.
Well, I mean, you don't have to. You don't have to do too much to disband it. You just have to. I mean, if I were you, I would be using the Moscow unit for the support, probably.
Yep.
But I guess we'll see in fall. Anything else about this spring move?
Not too much here. No, Italy is still. Turkey is still my best friend. Not my best friend, but keep your enemies closest.
Clearly, Turkey is about to have a trap sprung on him. Do you have any idea why he decided to move Tice into Westmed?
I recommended it. I said go pick up Spain.
Turkey, what the... You haven't beaten Italy.
I said, hey, you need to build, like, you're going to be playing the guessing game with Rome. You should go pick up Spain. So they did.
Oh my gosh. Does he think there's no guessing involved whether he gets Spain? There are 2 armies that are right now next to it until one of them moves away. It's Gascony and Marseille.
He had worked out a deal with the English that they were going to support and help each other with Iberia.
Ah, the famous Anglo-Turkish alliance.
Yes, very short period of time, but yes.
Hi folks, Florida Man here with a small introduction. Just wanted to suggest, if you made it this far into the video, you must have liked it. I mean, you must have enjoyed it. So you should probably click the like button if you haven't already, like about 70 or 80% of the people who are watching. You know who you are. Go on. Now back to your regularly scheduled enjoyment. So tell me about the fall.
Yeah, so fall, I take the assessment of, I could start my stab with Turkey here, but I kind of want a fleet before I do that, just to be more effective. So it's better for me just to eliminate Russia. So I'm going to support England in here, and I gave my support to Germany, and something happened, and Germany's orders did not go through. So we're playing a game with grace periods. where if they miss their turn, they have another like 24 hours, and something happened, and we all message the GM like, "Hey, what's going on?" I don't know. Someone broke on Backstabbr, and they didn't actually get the move, which is fine because it turned out being okay. But Germany didn't get any moves this turn.
Sounds very negative for Germany, but it certainly didn't hurt Italy any, since Italy was not going to get Marseille in any case.
Right. Yep.
All right. Anything else you want to note about this season?
Just that even in these dying throws, Russia does not stab Turkey. You could take Ankara. Russia doesn't do it. I don't think Russia ever knew that Turkey was feeding me their orders. The reason I'm so successful in conquering Russia is because Turkey's giving me their orders, which was really funny.
It's pretty helpful. Russia was a very loyal ally, and just like a loyal ally, he died the way he was supposed to.
Yep. All right. Let's go to winter.
All right. Now we have a Turkish Spain without Turkey having conquered anything in between Greece and Spain.
Yep. And I made it clear with Italy, like, hey, I'm going to build a fleet to help you out. Italy was fine with that, did not see the writing on the wall. England is like starting to build. They're doing okay. They're working with literally everyone on the map except for France.
France is really holding a bit of a grudge against England because whereas before he's been focused on homeland defense, now he destroys 2 armies but keeps the fleet in Wales.
So I reached out to France and said, how would you feel about a dying middle finger to England? And they were like, yeah, why not? So they kept it.
It's diabolical.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I'm working with the Brits, but I want them to do well, but not too well.
It's going to keep at least 2 English units busy holding that one fleet down.
Yep.
I mean, of course, I think Italy's still going to continue to do really well, but interesting stuff. Russia obviously dead. Turkey finally builds another army. What do you think of that?
About time for their own good.
Well, I guess maybe Turkey is now mentally prepared for the eventuality that you might ultimately be more ambitious than just wanting to eat Russia.
So I talk to Turkey, okay, I'm ready for my stab now on Italy. I'm going to do a fleet to help you break through the Ionian. I'm going to do an army to come take Venice. It's going to be a great fall 1905.
Well,
I'm an advocate of have one enemy at a time.
I like.
If you can.
I agree with that one. That's possible to do for sure.
When possible. So I convinced Germany, hey, let's get St. Pete knocked out. Let's hold off on the Marseille-Warsaw swap until you can actually do that. And then I set up for my stab on Turkey.
So this is interesting. How did you get Germany to stab England? They've just been working together in theory.
Germany is still angry about the whole Denmark thing. And Germany, as this new player, is messaging me like, hey man, there's so much lying and manipulating in this. I don't think this is a game for me. Germany was this close to just walking away and being like, I don't like this game.
It sounds like he's too good for this sinful game.
Yeah, kind of one of those situations. And so I'm really kind and coax him here, come on up to St. Pete. Let's get you into St. Pete. And he's making jokes about how Germans should never go into Russia, especially in the winter. And so we're joking about it, and he's ready to walk away from the game because he's I built this relationship with England and you and Italy, and I don't want to do this. And so I convinced him okay, now's your best chance you're ever going to get Belgium. This is what you got to do. So that's why we see the moves we do, and I convinced him to go north. And Italy... Go ahead.
Everyone's just basically moving according to you, kind of puppeteering them.
Yeah. Yeah. Italy is doing mostly what I say, so is Germany. I have a little bit of control over England, but not a ton. I give them advice. Sometimes they take it, sometimes they don't. But yeah, I've set myself up, and I think you've called me out on this before. A little bit of a puppeteer that I get everyone to kind of do what I want them to do.
Hey, it's if you have that talent, it's a special knack for those who possess it.
So a lot of fun. Let's go to fall.
All right. Ooh,
so I owe this to Italy. I need to get you into Greece, and I say, hey, let's like trade the Warsaw-Marseille swap for now. Instead, it's more important that we kick England out of St. Pete. That doesn't work.
I thought you were going to bring Germany in, honestly.
Yeah, I was going to support Germany in to St. Pete, and then Germany was like, no, I don't want St. Pete. You can have St. Pete. I shouldn't have St. Pete. This is a bad idea.
It's on his line.
Yeah, Germany's new.
Yeah. I mean...
so we see I did the same tactic as earlier, and I was talking with you about this.
Yes.
That rather than going for the center, instead you just pull in and get yourself into a better situation. Because what this also does with Turkey is it wastes 2 units. And now they're in Smyrna and Ankara, and they're not in a good defensive position to help Bulgaria and the other outlying positions. So now I've done this twice, where instead of going for a center, I drive deeper. And I think it works.
Oh my god. Turkey is so thoroughly screwed.
But it's just so fast, right?
Yes. It's very efficient. This I don't think many people know about the efficiency of the Austrian war machine.
Yeah, it's pretty efficient here.
Circa 1905.
And I'm in a position now where I've vacated all of my home centers. Every unit is on a front line, being useful. I'm in a good place.
It's very well done. And this is exactly what I want to see when I have my my units at war. It's every single one of them is part of the fight. It's beautiful. Yep.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So let's go to winter.
So you actually, despite the fact that you are crushing it, just demolishing your adversaries here, kind of destroying the future of Turkey, and breaking apart the Anglo-German alliance, you have no builds this year.
And there are reasons for that, because when you're in a central triple and you are the only one gaining territories, sometimes you want to be a little slow. You can't grow too fast or people will turn on you.
And it seems like you've done a great job of maintaining that loyalty, considering that Germany is building 2 fleets.
Yep, just like I want them to.
Yeah.
And I'm talking with England. About now is when England figures out that we're in a central triple.
Now it's too late.
He's the odd man out. It's like, oh, you've been in a central triple since spring 1901, and England just now figures it out.
Always has been.
So that fall move where I support Germany into Warsaw, I'm playing that up like, hey, we're fighting. I don't like the Italian player, all that stuff. And Italy makes an honest mistake and builds an army instead of a fleet in Naples. And I was really mad about this. Like, come on, man. You got it. I don't want an army down there, but also, like, for your own sake, you should have been a fleet. But, all right.
Yeah. I was going to say, it doesn't really harm you, I don't think, but, we'll see what it ends up doing. All right.
Yeah. So I explained to Italy and Germany, like, if you're going to do the Warsaw for Marseille swap, we need to put Lavinia into Warsaw, like, now. Sooner rather than later. So we see the move into Turkey, just picking up territories. This is all pretty standard. Helping out Germany, this is how you invade and conquer England. And England's messaging me like, yeah, I'm screwed. I'm just so spread out. England's in this position where they've just picked up little pieces everywhere.
Yeah, England... This could be a really good position for England if only he wasn't at odds with the entire rest of the map. I think England's position had a lot of potential here. I mean, I like the look of it almost as much as yours, but the diplomacy undergirding the map just doesn't favor him at all.
Yep.
And he's about to lose. We see him losing Denmark here, and looking like he could lose Sweden at any time. And St. Pete is in peril as well.
And this is where that message thread on dying middle finger back to France. That's why we get the French support into Spain.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Sometimes when players die, they just want to go out with a bang. So
it's definitely middle finger.
Yeah. Because it helps me. It causes another Turkish disband.
Yeah, that's going to be important, I imagine, since Turkey is trying to, prepare for his final stand now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go to fall. And Turkey is actually doing a pretty effective job of the homeland defense aspect now. He's doing what I would do, which is he destroys your Syria unit because that thing is too dangerous to be allowed to live. And the only way he could do it was by supporting a fleet in while cutting Armenia's support. Yeah,
and this is where I'm playing that debate game. How can I break into those territories? And so it's all, guesswork.
Yeah, it's only possible with navies, with fleets, and
you need a fleet.
Italy is not really properly positioned yet to help you.
Yep.
Okay, so
yep.
Elsewhere, France is losing Paris to England. This is one of the reasons why I said I like the English position, is because he can just walk into Paris at any time.
And he does. And we had this long conversation with Italy, how we were going to make it look like a stab, that Italy was going to turn on Germany and break the Central Triple and get that English support into Marseille. But we had long ago already established a Marseille for Warsaw swap. And England didn't know about that, so they just kind of fell right into it.
This is very smart. I mean, this is an excellent play. It's going to confuse England. He's going to think he's allies with Italy now.
He just needs one. Just needs one of us.
It's a perfect execution diplomatically of this subterfuge. This is exactly what I like to see when I'm thinking of deceiving people and a false stab. It's this kind of thing, rather than like a lot of people try to use the concept of a false stab and they propose moves that are obviously like them setting themselves, trying to set you up for being really stabbed.
And the beauty of this is now we have Italy as an inside man with England, learning about English moves and ideas. And he's just feeding that to the Central Triple.
It's excellent.
And from my vantage point, this is great. My allies aren't growing.
No, they're really not. All they did this year was trade centers with each other.
Yep. So in winter,
Germany still has builds. I guess stuff of his got destroyed.
Yes. So I plopped down a second fleet because I know I'm going to go to war with Italy in the future. So I just got to start getting ready for that. And so I think this was the second time where I conveniently get a message very late in the day and I conveniently ignore it. And I say, hey, I'm so sorry. I built the fleet. You know how it goes.
I'm so sorry about all of the Italian soldiers who are about to die.
Yeah. Yep.
So was this setting off some alarm bells for Italy then, finally?
Nope.
Oh.
Italy is, at this point, not really responsive. Like, we're not getting messages from Italy, and good comms is the foundation to any good relationship, and we're just not getting much from Italy.
Interesting. Very unfortunate. You guys might have to, dump him.
And that's when Germany and I start having this conversation. Like, maybe we stab Italy, maybe we don't. But it was important that when I do that stab, I don't tell anyone. So I push back against that, and I tell Germany, no, let's just follow through. We'll just end this on the Central Triple. Because I know Germany's already kind of at the point that this is their first time playing, and I don't know if they would have the stomach for that all the way through.
Yeah.
So I'll go to spring. So first attempt to crack that Turkish nut fails. But Italy, Italy at this point had said they want to take all of their fleets and go west. And I said, no, I need you in the Aegean. So they take their fleets and go west, which lets me into Ionia, which no is a bad idea.
A horribly bad idea.
I convinced Germany, hey, head on up, let's get you into St. Pete, get you out of Warsaw, most importantly. And then we'll go to fall.
He gets you into St. Pete.
And he changes his mind again. He's like, no, it's too far. Okay.
I can't effectively defend it. I can't reach. I have these short little arms.
I don't know why the German player didn't want St. Pete.
Oh, dots. I don't like them.
And so we see this time. This time I tried it for the third time. Rather than taking a territory, I drive deep. And this time, Turkey did a good job and called me out. I was like, nope, I know what you're going to do. And so bumped me out of Armenia. But I pulled in that fleet to east just to ensure Turkey dies this next year.
Very good idea.
And we see the Italian player, this support in Marseille. They just, I don't know. Italy's making some bad moves.
Yeah, it's Italy's making some moves that don't really make any sense. Like, yeah, like the support from Marseille, it's not supporting anything. But at least you can rely on him to use Aegean support Bulgaria to con.
Yep.
All right. Well, it looks like very little of substance actually changed this year, other than that Germany acquired North Sea, which is bad for England.
Yep.
But
now I'm playing this game of, okay, I've almost got Turkey dead. When I stab Italy and Germany, I want to make sure that their units are far away and they don't get any builds. So how do I orchestrate that? This year I got to build in Budapest, so I stay away from everybody's centers. And in spring, I convinced Italy, like, yep, go on out to Mao. I'm going to get my units in position so I can go up into Finland. Oh, Germany had a disband. And so they're like, I'll just disband Livonia. Okay, that's your choice. So now the entire eastern half of the map is just mine. So I got to get myself in position to long-term have an army in Scandinavia to cause chaos, have an army ready to stab Warsaw, and have units in position that I can stab Italy very quickly. And I don't want that army down in Rome to cause me problems. So I'm like, yeah, take that north. Keep going north. This is where you should go. So I got the first Turkish territory. I got Smyrna. And then fall. So this is when I do my stab. So I had calculated, and I got the English moves, because England at this point was like, this is the central triple. Like, I'm done. I just walk away. But I counted on England still playing a little bit and not just hitting surrender and doing no moves. And so I had planned that Germany wanted me to support their convoying to Norway. But instead, if I supported Norway, then England wouldn't take anything, or Germany wouldn't take anything. And so I thought, okay, I can plan this so Germany is going to pick up only Brest, because I thought England was going to support Paris, and I thought it was going to be all on Norway, not on Sweden. And if I pick up Warsaw, then Germany gets 0 builds. I'll pick up 2 or 3 and be able to walk into all those German centers. And on the Italian side, I thought, okay, I can get that army into Piedmont so it's moved away, get France finally eliminated, and get those fleets in a bad position. And now I'm at the point here where I was supposed to support Italy into Constantinople, but I didn't. I tried to take it myself. And I pick up Greece, and I'm in a perfect place in Ionia for the next year. I'm an advocate of do all of your stabs, all the good stabs in fall, not in spring, so you can capitalize on them.
That makes sense.
But my stab did not work so well.
Mainly because of how much Germany is still growing despite losing Warsaw.
Because England did not do any supports. I calculated on England still playing the game. And they just they were messaging up through this turn, but they submitted 0 moves this turn. My stab would have been so much better.
Yeah, I can certainly see that. I mean, England wouldn't have likely lost Paris. England would have still lost Sweden, but and probably Brest, but it would have been, Germany would have had 1 build tops and maybe just 0.
Yep. So Germany got 2.
Yeah.
And so you stabbed at this point, and if it had worked, I would have done a fleet in Trieste, but I knew I need those armies on that line real quick with Germany.
Yeah. So I guess I can tell what you're about to do.
Yeah. And so I send that message to Germany and Italy. Hey guys, I tried the stab, didn't work. I'll do the 3-way now. And I changed my orders to a 3-way draw. Like, there's no point drawing this out. But I do love this move when you bring 4 units at once against the German border. Like, it's just beautiful. So nice.
Yeah.
And England had said, like, I surrendered, I'm out of the game. Set myself up for that convoy into Naples. Italy tries running back. And Italy goes for the Irish Sea? I don't know why.
I guess because of England giving up and only having fleets on the island.
Yep.
But he's just dot grabbing when he needs to be desperately defending, and it's I mean, I don't know, maybe that fleet was too far away to actually be useful in this fight already.
When you calculate it, it's going to take a few turns to invade Italy. It's more important for that fleet to come back. Or, I don't know, take Portugal, take something closer to home.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That would have been much more sensible, especially because he's moving Spain to Westmed, so he won't get Portugal any other way.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think if he is going to try and snag a build, you're right. Portugal will be much better because then he can hopefully move that fleet back toward the front with you in 1910.
Yeah. So in fall, I take my stab at Munich. Germany does this interesting convoy into Livonia, which is interesting, but I don't think it's the right move.
No, because he should have been supporting Munich.
Yeah.
I mean, and he apparently, I mean, I know the German player is new, but he clearly doesn't know the stalemate line positions in this game because he could have made it impossible for you to ever take Munich.
Yeah.
He just needed to go into Liberty this season and support Munich from Ruhr and Berlin, and he would be invincible there.
And this is the point in the game where units on the board matter. And you're going to end up in this situation where if I'm popping and destroying units and you can't rebuild them, you're going to lose. And when Germany can pick up so much of this English territory, they need to keep some of these territories free for new units, and by doing the fun little maneuver into Livonia, you're not going to do that. I'm going to end up popping that army, and you're not going to be able to rebuild it.
I've seen convoys to Livonia. Sorry.
And then England came back alive and took St. Pete from me. I was so mad. But good for them. And I had calculated, I'm going to get 3 builds. So this is where I give the Italian player credit for some good moves. Because I have calculated them to be very, defensive and hesitant and not aggressive. And so I thought they were going to, support themselves in Tyrolia or defend Venice. And I was going to get 3 builds, so therefore I should pull Trieste down to Albania so I can put that 3rd build in Trieste. And I thought that he was going to take Tice to Rome and try to bounce me from Rome, and then I could slip into Tice. But what I had debated and I should have done was just Naples to Rome and then Ionia to Naples. But hindsight's 20/20, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because I thought that, and this is where it's kind of a game of chess, where it's I thought that the Italian player would think that I would take that Naples to Rome, and so I did something else.
Yeah.
But they got it on me this time, which was good work on their part.
Yeah, they now that the Italians are in real trouble, once you're backed into a corner, some people start getting pretty creative, start thinking a lot harder about what their opponents are doing.
Yeah. and Italy did well. I've been really critical of the game, but this is their best turn, hands down.
I agree.
So I got my 2 builds.
Yes, and even right now, I can't help but think even right now, this is a good season where Germany could potentially, not this season, obviously this is the build, but Germany could still maybe retake Munich if he gets Italy to cut the support and he, makes the right moves. And I guess we're going to see if that happens. But it's a delicate position for you and for them.
If Germany, Italy, and England all cooperate, and England's okay with giving centers to Germany for the sake of me losing, which I've seen before, they could turn this around, maybe.
Absolutely. I mean,
but that Italian player does not respond very much, and that requires good comms. So we'll go quickly kind of through the end game here.
Yeah.
So so this time I recalibrate for the mistake I made last year, and I pick up Rome and Venice. I'm okay with losing Greece, and I just start moving things kind of in position. Munich's untenable, but Berlin is holdable. And so hop over into Berlin. Again, the goal here with the Germans is not to conquer German territory, but to keep them occupied so that when he picks up territories from England, like we see in Edinburgh, he can't build new units.
That is a demanding task, but it seems as if you're up to it.
I've lost the game before where I tried pushing through Germany, and the English player just wants to spite me and gives up their home territories to the German player, and Germany ends up getting in the two-way or pushes me out. And so I didn't want that to happen, and I just wanted to keep pressure on those territories so that he can't build.
I was thinking just now that if I was Germany, what I would have done is Berlin to Munich, Kiel under support, Baltic Sea taps Prussia.
Yep.
And it looks like that would have been the perfect move set, but he's doing something else again. I can't fault him because he's a new player, and he's actually fighting you reasonably well for a new player. But it's
he's doing okay.
Little tactical things would have saved him.
A little bit.
But at least a little longer.
Yeah. So let's keep going.
Oh my god, you're dominating here, and it's
knocked out Italy.
Oh man, Italy's got Liverpool and Tunis.
Pretty much.
Did you want to say anything else about this?
No, this is where it's just moving into position is really all this is now.
Germany's just holding basically and supporting old.
And I start to notice this trend here. This ends up becoming important. That Germany is calculating I can only ever hit Munich with 3, so he only needs to defend Munich with 3. And then you see that Kiel unit not doing anything.
Yes.
Let's keep going. So I get my army, and I'm close. I think I'm at 17, and I'm just being methodical. I'm planning to destroy that army in Lavinia because he can't rebuild them.
Well, I mean, and at this point, if you can find some space to get yourself another fleet, you could probably take over all of Italy and Tunis. I mean, and maybe go into Marseille, Spain, if you wanted to. If the game somehow lasted long enough for that.
Yeah.
All right.
So, being methodical, destroy that army in Tyrolia, make sure it can't retreat anywhere, and just be slow and steady.
And Italy can't really build it either.
Yep. You can't rebuild it anywhere. Just be slow and steady.
Slowly crush them to death.
And this is, again, where Italy has a bad idea. Rather, I'm going to support Germany into Spain to destroy that English fleet, our English army. You should have just kept moving that fleet into the Mediterranean. Don't even waste your time with that. But they did.
Yeah.
So, setting myself up, and then in the fall, or in winter 1911, I can get that new.
I guess it's safe to say that things are getting pretty dicey for Italy now.
Yeah, it's pretty much game over at this point.
Yeah. things are dicey for all of them. And now there's not even any vulnerability here in Russia, where Germany maybe could have walked into something if he got lucky, and if he outguessed you. And not only that, but now we see you now have 4 units lined up next to Munich.
And he doesn't use Kiel to support Munich. He's forgetting about it.
That is...
And so I don't do any attacks because I realize he's kind of making this mistake, and I'll wait for when I can actually do the 4 on Munich.
And in the fall, you do, and Munich...
There's the 4 on Munich.
Oh, a disaster.
And I was like, I'll just take a stab at Naples. And I got it. And that got me the 18.
I certainly can't fault you. This is a very well played game on your part, and you took advantage of every gap they showed. I think every weakness in the play. What do you have in terms of final thoughts about, what people should take from this game that you won at?
I think keeping your friends close, but your enemies closer. So I kept Turkey really close, and I was able to play that really difficult line of I'm going to feed my allies' moves to my enemy so that they don't expand too fast. Because as a result, I was able to get most of the Russian territories, and none of my allies really grew. And then Germany made a bad choice and wanted to support me into St. Pete, not them. The Central Triple is great, but you need to make sure all of you are expanding at about the same time, because otherwise you'll get a player like me who kind of takes advantage of that, goes for the solo.
Yeah. I mean, this is really... You're showing everyone who's watching just exactly how Austria can perfectly execute the Central Triple. I mean, of course, it helps if Italy and Germany are making unforced errors, as they kind of did, like when Italy was really wanted to be a raider and go look for Warsaw for some reason, or when they were willing to spend time just trying to get rid of England near the end game, even though they really desperately needed to fight you because you were near Sweden. It helps when all those things happen, but it can only work when you are prepared to take advantage of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a fun game. I don't know if Germany's going to keep playing diplomacy or not, but...
I wouldn't bet on it, but I hope he will, because, hobby always needs new blood, and if he can get past the cold-blooded betrayal aspect, I think you'll find it's a lot of fun.
Germany did really, really well for a first-time player. I got to give them a lot of credit. They just needed to be a little bit more greedy, and I think they would have done better.
I think so, too. And to be honest, I think most of the players who we mentioned had real highlights at one point or another in this game. I mean, Germany and Italy, we've already mentioned. England, I kind of mentioned how I really liked his position at a certain point. France... Even though France made what I considered a big mistake by trying to appeal to basically the United Nations, I'm going to leave everyone alone for a minute to handle the Russian threat. He played it right in the sense that he did ultimately try to start moving toward the Mediterranean. He just waited a little too long, and there was a lot of interesting play in this game. But I think it was clear you were a cut above the rest.
It was fun. It was a fun way to get back into the hobby after a 2-year hiatus.
Well, thank you for coming on and sharing the game that you got back in with.
Yeah, a lot of fun. All right, well, I hope to see you around in another game then.
Likewise. I'm sure we will see each other soon. I hope you've enjoyed this diplomacy commentary. If you did, you know what to do. The usual. As I said earlier, subscribe. Comment with your thoughts on the game. How would you have stopped Austria from his runaway solo attempt? Which, ultimately, spoilers if you somehow skipped the end, succeeded. If you really enjoyed this video and this content in general, you could have seen it over a month early by subscribing to my Patreon. At any given moment, members of my Patreon have access to a variety of content that the rest of the YouTube fans just do not, including some material that will never be on YouTube. Just a thought. The individuals who are currently subscribed to my Patreon are listed in the credits here. You may want to consider joining them. I'll be back soon with more Florida Man diplomacy content. Till next time, Florida Man, out.